There's a lot of things that have stayed the same, but there's a lot of things that have changed over the years. And one of the things that come to mind is the TAF night show, especially the slide show. And we used to actually have slides to produce the slideshow. And part of putting these slides in, sometimes they got reversed or they got turned sideways, so we had to be very careful. It was a challenge to try to time things, and early on we actually had somebody press to advance the slides, so sometimes the music would end and we weren't done with all the slides yet, or we had too much slides and not enough music, so we always had little hiccups here. So today it's just been amazing what we've come to. It's been, I think, one of the best thing about the TAF night show is it really captures the memories of the week, and I think it's one of the special highlights of TAF, and by the end of the night everybody's usually crying.
Well, in 1986, Sylvia Chan, the juniors program director, created the Big Sip Little Sip program, and in 1992 I was 9 years old and I came to TAF as a junior, and I had a big sib. His name was Andy Wu. And every day I would get a letter from him with candy and just getting to know me and just saying how awesome I was. It was the big brother I never had. And on Thursday of TAF that week, we had a barbecue outside, and the best game that we played was the piggyback race. And so me and all my friends were on all of our big sibs' backs and we're racing, and we were winning, but we actually fell. And that week I actually broke my collarbone from that fall. And it didn't hurt at all, but all of TAF was just supporting me, loving me. I got a huge card that said, "Get well soon." And today we still have, the Big Sip Little Sip program, and we still play the same games, we still have the same activities, just so that the little sibs, the juniors, can experience the support from a big sib and the rest of TAF.
One of the staple activities that we used to do was roller skating. Everyone would hop on a school bus and we would go in shifts to this roller rink and just spend the time roller skating with your sibs, with your friends. And I remember very clearly counselors taking naps. It was a very significant event of the week because it kind of marked the midpoint of the week where TAF was almost over, and so we would look forward to this moment, but at the same time kind of dread it just because we didn't want TAF to end.
My first program was junior high, and when I went to junior high, at that time I could not dance at all, and TAF was the place I learned how to dance. And I know a lot of kids now at 11, 12, you guys can do flares, popping, locking, you guys got ABDC, Dancing with the Stars, but back in the day that wasn't around, so no one really danced. And the biggest thing at TAF was the informal dance and the celebration dance. That's what we call the last dance. And now you guys do a lot of group dancing, but back in the day we actually used to have to ask people, and so it would be one-on-one. And it was always really nerve-wracking wanting to ask your TAF crush to dance, especially when the slow dances came. And the dances were always just a really good time for you to let loose. Yeah, that's one of my vivid memories of TAF.
I like to consider myself one of the first Taiwanese American designers. It wasn't a very popular thing to do when I was a kid. And by virtue of that, I ended up entering a contest to design the original TAF logo. Probably because there weren't very many Taiwanese American designers, I won. In 2005, I want to say, I think we did a revamp on the logo, which is what you see today. And the difference, obviously, the logo is a lot more thought out. If you look at it carefully, you've got red, green, and blue. Green signifying Taiwan, red and blue signifying America. But the circle itself is significant in that you've got the themes cycling in every 4 years. So there's actually meaning behind it now, which helps us to do a lot of our marketing. Looking back at my history and being in a profession that was so frowned upon during my youth, and seeing so many Taiwanese Americans today that are taking on this profession, it really touches me. It makes me feel really great to have counterparts or peers in the industry now.
Most people don't know this, but after 1986, they actually canceled TAF. I remember just having images of lots of people hanging out, partying at night, pulling mattresses out into the hallways, and I think there were even some other major rules that were broken in more serious forms. The board that year decided to cancel TAF, and it really devastated me and my friend. We fought really hard. We actually started a letter writing campaign to the board to try to bring back TAF. Fortunately, the board, after 6 months, decided to reinstate TAF. So in actuality, even though it was canceled, in 1987 they actually brought it back just in time. So most people didn't know that it was gone for a while. And I think we really learned from it. We learned that we really needed to have good structure and a clear mission, and we worked really hard at starting to build what you know now as TAF.
3 years ago, when we went to the Manchester cafeteria. It was really cool, and they had a lot of good food. But they had trays before, and now they don't. So like, I used to be able to get like a lot of food, like desserts and like drinks and everything, on one tray in just one trip. But now we have to go back and forth, and like you go back just because you need a fork or a knife, and it's really, really hard, and I miss trays.
One of my fondest recollections is swing choir. When we started out in swing choir, it was mostly just songs that we sung, and then we just had some movements to it. But over time, it's evolved. My goodness, now, back then I used to dance. Can you imagine that? Now it's like, I'd be really concerned about dancing on the stage. But I think there's some great things about swing choir that helps to really unify the group together. It also gives guys a chance to kind of express themselves and kind of work through their awkwardness. So it's a great activity, and I hope that they'll continue to improve it.
My fondest recollection is of small groups. Bob Lynn asked me to be one of the first small group leaders at TAF. And before TAF had the small group system, it was basically a free-for-all. And what the small group system did was to have one person serve as a servant leader for a small group throughout the week to help encourage each and every member to go to their full potential. Actually, it was a dual purpose to support one another and to give young Taiwanese American the chance to lead and give them a supportive environment where they could explore. And this is what TAF has become, and I genuinely hope that we keep this tradition alive.
One of the things that's really changed about TAF over the years is the post-TAF communication. And I remember when I was a kid actually writing snail mail letters with the best stationery I could find and sending it off and hoping, 3 days, 4 days would pass and the person would receive it and they would hopefully mail me back. I remember in middle school when AOL came out and became popular, and all of a sudden after TAF there would be these 20 or 30 person chat rooms and we'd all be getting together trying to keep TAF alive past this 1 week that we're actually here. And these days, with Twitter and Facebook and email and all of these things, it sometimes feels like we haven't even really left from TAF. A lot of us even have networks of TAFers in our different cities across the country, across the world. And so it's really interesting how TAF has expanded beyond this 1 week of this camp.
One of the things wonderful about TAF is that it's actually, if you think about it, TAF is a multifaceted conference that is really, it's actually what it is now because of all the different contributions, all the different ideas that people over time have shared. They've made TAF theirs. It's their TAF. It's our TAF. And I think that's what's so wonderful about this conference.